What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you guys my review for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Manga Chapter 2. So this month happened to be a bit more eventful of a chapter than what I initially thought it was going to be, because when I heard the initial leaks, I was kind of hearing that the chapter was going to be very, very action heavy, and to be honest, it kind of was still action heavy, but I think there was a good balance this chapter between story, dialogue, and the action we got throughout. So everything that was shown, I feel like was overall well paced for the chapter. So I definitely got to give some props to Ikimoto and Kishimoto for that, of course. And let's talk about, of course, some of the big things that were mentioned in the chapter, and I'll kind of give my thoughts on those. I do want to say, though, just, right away, there really wasn't much to dislike about the chapter. And I mean, if there is something down the line that is something I dislike, I'll mention it. But I just feel like a lot of, things are just being set up right now, and we're just being showcased some things thanks to the whole time skip. But I did want to mention again, cool ass cover page for Sarada. I really like the color blend with the background and her fit, so I thought it was pretty clean. So nice cover. And then the chapter pretty much kicked off with Code saying that he's surprised he got Boruto to show up so easily, and he's just giving his little comments, but Boruto's warning him to take his soldiers and go, and that if he doesn't, that he's gonna kill him. And Code just thinks this whole time that he was bluffing. But Boruto, reiterates himself. He says, if you understand what I'm saying, you better get out of here, or you're going to leave with more than just a lost eye, or, pretty much something along the lines of, you're going to lose more than just an eye this time. And that's referring back to this meeting apparently they had 2 years ago. And by the way, this time skip is 3 years. But 2 years ago, it seems like Boruto and Code had a confrontation at some point, and that is where Code ended up losing an eye. And this, of course, is getting a lot of readers, including myself, to wonder what could have happened to Sasuke and where's Sasuke at, because I have a very, very high feeling that Sasuke was involved in that fight, especially because Code ends up telling Boruto that, he ends up mentioning that Boruto ran from him at that time. So that means 2 years ago, Boruto wasn't strong enough to defeat Code, but now it seems like Boruto's really confident he can take him down with ease. So what kind of power-up did Boruto get, and, what prompted this power-up? Did Sasuke's death really push him over the edge this much, or did something like that even happen? Or did Sasuke just get really serious with training him somehow? There had to have been some big things for sure that I really hope that they discuss. But moving forward, Boruto and Sarada do interact a little bit, and Sarada's pretty much just trying to ask if he's okay, but Boruto just, kind of coldly says that they'll talk later and that she should focus on surviving and helping other people out. And he's not really making any eye contact with her while saying this, so this gets me personally at least, a little more concerned about Sasuke's well-being here. And that could honestly just be a little teaser they're throwing in there to convince us readers that something may be up with Sasuke, but we'll see. I also thought it was cool that we got to see Shikacho fight some of the Clogrims as well, and everybody got a little bit of moments to shine. And we also saw Himawari in there too, and she was with Inojin, but right when Inojin's painting broke apart, she started falling, and right then, Kawaki made his entrance and saved her. He came flying in, attacked a soldier who happened to have a Rinnegan, which was pretty crazy to see as well. And a little detail that I did talk about in my spoiler video as well was that Himawari calls Kawaki Big Bro, kind of like how she would call Boruto Big Bro, but Kawaki tells her to stop calling him that. So that kind of shows the people, reading, of course, that Kawaki doesn't exactly want Boruto's life, like, word for word, bar for bar. but we are in this situation anyway because of his hate for the Otsutsuki and his desire to protect Naruto. That's ultimately it. And clearly he still cares, of course, about Himawari and, the village in general. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in the spot we are now. But it turns out this soldier with the Rinnegan is superior to a lot of the others. So I guess you have a little hierarchy in the standings with this one. And Kawaki actually got caught off guard by him, and that led to Shikadai having to restrict this particular Clawgrim, and Kawaki destroyed him after that with his karma being activated. But some people were claiming that Kawaki is on fraud watch after that, but I don't know. I mean, this soldier did have a Rinnegan as well, so I think we can cut Kawaki, a little momentary slack right there. And right after that, the soldiers just keep on showing up. There's not really an end to them, and Kawaki pretty much ends up saying that he's going to destroy them all anyway. So after that, we cut over to Boruto, where we had a pretty solid action scene with him too. He's just cutting down multiple soldiers, and I think honestly this would be a scene that I can most imagine being done really well if we get a nice animation staff whenever the anime comes back down the line. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they don't butcher that. And after, Boruto's done cutting them down, Code, starts taking Boruto's threat a little more seriously, but he's still not, super worried or anything like that. And Code's pretty much telling Boruto not to get super duper cocky, and that there's plenty more soldiers out there, and that they're all, tools for him to use. And Boruto pretty much just coldly responds to him by saying that he has no idea what the true horror is of the Ten Tails. And this is where a lot of the big dialogue of the chapter, I feel like, comes in, aside from the Boruto and Sarada interaction. And speaking of Sarada, after that we did get to see a little bit of Sarada in action. Nothing really new, but I'm sure they're saving some new things for her in some other battles. But we got to see, just her using some fire style into Chidori again, but nothing super crazy. And we did get to see, though, that some of these shinobi around the village are getting engulfed into a tree by these soldiers, and they're not completely engulfed how if the divine tree was getting them, but they're just getting engulfed in general, and they're trapped on the tree. So it's interesting to see something's happening here. And we do cut back over to Code, who's now talking about the Ten Tails saying, normally eating Otsutsukis, and that eventually he adds up on that by saying that they're a beast in general that feeds on anyone and everyone by instinct until they find an Otsutsuki. And Boruto pretty much says that normally, yeah, that's true, but not anymore in this situation, because the transformation that Code added to them with the claw marks and everything has altered them. So that is a big change to what's going on here right now. So next, Boruto is pretty much telling Code that he can still annihilate them right now, or otherwise that they're gonna head for the worst future that anyone can possibly imagine. So he's telling Code to get rid of these Ten-Tailed soldiers, because this could really be, to be honest, what leads to that downfall of the village that we get to see in chapter 1 of Boruto to begin with. So maybe they're hinting ahead, and that really could be what, destroyed the village ultimately. But Code just responds to this by saying the worst future is what he really wants. So since the planet's gonna perish anyway once the divine tree returns. So after that, Boruto again is playing no games. I swear this guy's expression hasn't changed all chapter. He's just saying he'll tell him once more. He says he'll let Code live in exchange for leading Boruto to the place where the real Ten-Tails' body is hidden. And Code responds to that by telling Boruto that stupidity has a limit. And pretty much, towards the end of the chapter now, we're getting there, Boruto ends up telling Code that killing him is easy. So why not rather just do a good thing instead of just dying to him over here. And, Code is just calling BS on what Boruto's saying, and saying Boruto will be the one to die instead. But right then we kind of cut into a little scene that's going to lead us into the next chapter, where Boruto is calling Code a fool and approaching him with a new jutsu, which is said to be called the Rasengan Uzuhiko, which pretty much translates to something along the lines of Rasengan Vortex. So maybe this is a more complete Rasengan than what we've seen before. Nonetheless, it at least is going to be a more evolved Rasengan, I think, in some sort of way. Let me know, though, how you guys think this Rasengan will be different than what we've seen in the past. Would love to hear your thoughts on that. But in general, of course, let me know, too, what you guys thought of the chapter. So me personally, I really enjoyed it. Thought it was a pretty good to a great chapter. I don't think it was as good as last month's personally, but that's probably also because there was a lot of hype to see everyone's designs and see what's going on and everything. But I did enjoy last month's a little bit more. I did give last month's chapter somewhere in the realm of a 9 to a 9.5. This month I'm feeling, I'd say, a pretty solid 8.5, maybe a light 9. Still pretty high numbers, of course, because the chapter was really good, but slightly below chapter 1 for me, but still a good to great chapter nonetheless. Would love to hear, of course, what you thought again in the comments below. But that's gonna wrap up this one. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. And I hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.